And we are back. Power Rankings, NFL Week 7. Get right into it. Number 32, staying the same, is going to be the 1-5 Cleveland Browns. The Browns coming off of a 20-16 loss to the Eagles. This game was, kind of good for the Browns because you're going against a team as tough as the Eagles and you only lose by 4 points. That's, something to be pretty proud about. However, you did get a kick six or whatever it's called when you block the punt for a touchdown. So in reality, it was more of 20-9. So yeah. Number 31, we have the Jaguars down 2 spots. They ended up going across the pond to London, where they got absolutely embarrassed by the Bears, 35-16. And the Jaguars, coming off of last week, looked like a great team. Looked like they finally pieced it together, and now they look like they're back to, what they were the first 4 games. So, I don't know what's going on with the Jaguars. I think it's, more than overdue for a, coaching change of scenery. And, I think you're going to have to cut your losses and move on from Doug Peterson. Number 30, we have the Titans up a spot. They want a bye week. They're only going up because the Jaguars are going down. 29, we have the Panthers going up a spot. Same thing. Well, they lost, but I feel like their game was, even though it says 38-20, it was a one-score game for a majority of that game before the Falcons kind of blew the door open in the fourth quarter. So I'm going to give credit to the Panthers for holding into that game for 3 quarters. And, they're going up because, the Jaguars are going down. So, yeah. 28, we have the Raiders staying the same as they fell to the Steelers. And I don't remember the score, but it was, bad. 32-13. And I don't necessarily think the Raiders are good. As I'm recording this, they legit, an hour or 2 ago, traded away Devontae Adams. So, that's not going to help their cause a lot either. And I do think the Raiders still have potential. It's just going to depend heavily on Aiden O'Connell and, what he's able to do. But, as we've seen from now, he can make those plays. He's just not very reliable. 27, we have the Patriots, who are 1-5, going nowhere, staying the same. They fall to the Texans 41-21. The good news is Drake May was able to throw 3 touchdowns on that Texans defense, so maybe, just maybe, Drake May is able to, string together a few more wins this season. However, if he continues to play how he did, that game, I think, Patriots fans should be happy because it does look like they have a decent quarterback going into, the years to come after this one. 26, we have the Dolphins staying the same. They're 2-3. They had a bye week. 25, we have the Rams staying the same. They're 1-4. They had a bye week. 24, we got the Giants 2-4, who are staying the same. They ended up losing 17-7, I believe, or 17-10, something like that. Yeah, 17-7 to the Bengals on Sunday night. I don't know if you guys can hear the amount of motorcycles driving by, but I'm so sorry. I don't know what's happening. As you can see, I don't know if you're able to see, it's 11:40 on a Tuesday right now. So why there's this many, I don't know. But back to what we're talking about. Yeah, the Giants did not look good offensively. Defensively, they looked amazing. Holding, Joe Burrow going into that week game. I don't know if I'd say MVP favorite, but he's definitely top 5 to, 17 offensive points. And I believe, I don't remember what the first one was, but I know the second one was a rushing touchdown. So maybe only 1 passing touchdown. Oh, it was a scrambling touchdown. So Joe Burrow didn't even throw a passing touchdown that game. That's very good from that Giants defense. And, really, the only bright spot about that game, considering he scored 7 points. 23, we have the Cardinals 2-4, down 3 spots. They ended up getting destroyed by the Packers 34-13. And I don't know what the Cardinals, because one week they'll look really good beating the 49ers, and the next they'll, get beaten by 20 points by the Packers. So I think the Cardinals are one of the most inconsistent teams. However, when they're on, they're on, and when they're off, I think is what we're seeing. So it really just seems like it's going to depend on what side of the bed the Cardinals wake up on. And, that's can be a good, thing, but if you wake up on the bad side, it's not. So, 23 for now. 22, we have the Jets going up a spot. Even though they lost 23-20 to the Bills. What we have to realize is that they were with a new head coach. They just fired her. This was their first game with this guy. I don't remember if it's a new coordinator or, that interim head coach also has the offensive coordinator ability. But Nathaniel Hackett's no longer really calling plays, it sounds like. And for them to, only lose by a field goal to the Bills is very impressive. Plus, they also acquired Devontae Adams, so if he's able to, do what he did in Green Bay, I think that should be a very good trade for them. Especially when you only gave up a third-round pick, potentially a second, but I don't think it's going to turn into that. So, fair enough. I think the Jets have a chance, however, they're running out of time rapidly. 21, we got the Colts going up a spot. They ended up winning their game 20-17 against the Titans in a game where they actually played pretty well. Obviously, the score doesn't really say it considering against the Titans. But the Titans, I'm pretty sure I mentioned they had a bye week. They did not. That was last week. I do think the Colts have a chance, but it sounds like Anthony Richardson is going to be taking over again. So, I think we're going to find out pretty quickly if it's Anthony Richardson's or Joe Flacco's team. Number 20, we got the boys going down 7 spots. A little bit of spoilers for my prediction, so skip ahead about 20 seconds if you don't want to hear it. This was the one game I got wrong. I picked the Cowboys to beat the Lions, and that was the one game this week I ended up getting wrong. So that's fun. All right, spoilers over. You guys got blown out. That's no surprise. 49-7 against the Lions. Fair play Lions. Cowboys, I don't know what's going on. You guys look like you could be good. You look like you could be bad. And I think this is... I know we keep saying it every year, but I think this will finally be the year that Mike McCarthy is gone. Unless you magically win the next 10 games, I think your season might not look the greatest this year. I think you'll probably be hovering around the 500 range you're at now. And with the team you have now, that's a bad thing. So, yeah. 19, we got the Saints. They're going to be going down 2 spots. I don't know what's going on with the Saints because they look like a great team through 5 games. And then going into this game, they look abysmal in the first quarter. They look elite in the second quarter. They look okay in the third quarter, still keeping it close. And then the fourth quarter, it's bye. So, fair respect to, for playing, like I said, 3 quarters of football against the Buccaneers, especially with Spencer Rattler at your quarterback. But, you really I'm pretty sure you scored all 27 of your points in that second quarter. So, you had 1 good quarter and 3 where you put up 0 points. That's not a good recipe. And I think if you're able to kind of keep that going, you're able to pick up some wins. Because if you're able to score 27 points in a quarter, just do that for 4 quarters. I think Spencer Rattler showed a lot of potential, and I do think he will be able to, keep you guys at least in the playoff picture, once Derek Carr is able to return. However, as it stands now, I do think you guys are, ever since week 2, just dropping down the list. 18, we got the Seahawks. They're going to be going down 2 spots. This is kind of the same thing. You lose to the 49ers 34-26, or 22, I think, actually. 36-24, I was close. And you started out 3-0. You had a decent game against the Lions in week 4, but kind of ever since that, you have just, same thing with the Saints, just been trickling down my power rankings. I think you're going to need a win to kind of, and it doesn't have to be an impressive one. You are going against the Falcons next week, so I do think that would be an impressive win. But you're going to need something to really change the momentum because, losing 3 in a row and still being 3-3 is a good sign, but you could also be 6-0 using that logic. If just one of those games went differently, you'd be leading your division and you'd have a winning record. 17, we have the Bengals going up a spot. I'm still not sold on the Bengals because, yes, you win, but it's the Giants. And what we also need to talk about is going into this game, I was expecting a high-scoring game, something that we've seen every single week with the Bengals since week 2, where their offense is clicking and their defense is, well, not. But it was the opposite this game. This game, the defense finally did their part, only allowing 7 points. But the offense was only able to score 17, and they were both rushing touchdowns, and one of them came on the very first drive, and then after that, we didn't see one until, I'm pretty sure, the very last Bengals drive, unless, we count the kneel down, which I don't even think they did. So, I think for the Bengals, they need to work out these consistency issues where, offense does good one week, defense does the next. It's a two-sided sport, both have to do good if you want to do well, and you can't win in shootouts every week, and you can't win in 10-7 games every week. So they're gonna have to figure out some common ground, or I think the Bengals could struggle. 16, we have the Steelers entering the top half, up 5 spots. They ended up picking a nice win against the Raiders, and Justin Fields looked fairly good that game. Or I believe it was Justin Fields. Could be wrong. I didn't see a whole lot of it. I just know, it was domination. And I don't really know what to say besides that. Najee ran for over 100 yards. There's nothing to say. I'm going to be honest. It was legit a typical game, I feel like, where one team was obviously better than the other. No one did anything outrageous, and it was just a normal football game that was one team better than the other. 15, we have the Broncos. 14, we have the Chargers. The Broncos going down a spot. The Chargers up 5. The Chargers ended up beating the Broncos this game. That's why we're doing both at the same time. 23-16. Now, the score obviously isn't going to show it, but the Chargers were winning that game. I want to say 23-3 or 23-0, 20-3, something like that. And, the Broncos kind of just came back. And obviously, as you can see, it wasn't enough. But this shows a lot of potential for both teams because the Chargers finally, looking a bit healthy, getting Herbert looking like he's in the full swing of things, were able to drop up that many points. And, they just kind of coasted the rest of the game. While the Broncos, it did suck that they allowed that many points, but they were able to come back. And, they did fall short. However, you got to respect the effort. So I do believe these two teams show a lot of potential, and I do think maybe not this year, but in the years following, I do think we will see Bo Nix and Justin Herbert and, their coaching guys. And the Chargers and Broncos are going to be rivaling the Chiefs, I hope. Because I'm tired of seeing the Chiefs win. I mean, if I thought I hated Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes is on pace to beat him, so yay. 13, we have the Bills going down a spot. This is one of those scenarios where even though you win, it didn't impress me. Because you beat a Jets team with a new coach, and, that could be a good thing for the Jets because the fact that you're able to do that well with a coach says a lot. And that could also just mean same thing for the Bills where, they were going against a great coach, so maybe that's why. But what we need to talk about is the amount of penalties that happened. Right, there was over 200 yards of penalties, and, in the Bills' favor for a lot of them, because I do believe it was, the Jets at, 130 and the Bills at, 95. So, I feel like the penalties were a big reason they won that game, and we also need to quickly talk about the field goals, because Tyler Bass missing an extra point, I don't care how windy it was, I don't know what his field goal he missed was, that's concerning. I don't care how windy it is, he needs to figure that out. I know the Jets had their fair share of misses too, which brings up the point that if, the Jets would have made their kicks and Greg Zuerlein, he didn't, we'd be talking about a whole different game. So, I think who do you play next week? The Titans. Okay. Maybe you'll win next game, but after that, I don't know who you play, so I just don't know if you're good yet. You look good. It's just I'm not feeling it yet. And I mean, if you beat up on the Titans, who knows? Number 12, the Bears up 3 spots. This is not a team I'd be expecting to make this push this early in the season, considering how bad they started. But they're currently sitting 4-2 with a dominant 35-16. Yeah, what do you mean now? Win over the Jaguars in London. They're looking like a top 10 team. However, because of that slow start, I'm still not 100% convinced of them. However, I'm like 98%. All right, I think the Bears are, that one game away from getting into the swing of things. And I'm not saying that like the Bears, aren't. I'm saying that they need the Lions to beat the Vikings, and I think we'll be talking about, a crazy division. And I think the Bears will have a great chance to win if the Lions are able to beat the Vikings, because I really like the Bears right now. As a Packers fan, I hate to say it, but the Bears are looking electric. And you play, and you get a bye week next week, so you're able to carry that, long travel over, so you won't, be fatigued come that next game you play, and you'll have that little 1-game rest, so you'll get to watch, hopefully, the Lions beat the Vikings. Number 11, we got the Eagles down a spot. I'm sorry, Eagles, but you did not look impressive in your win back. I understand you're going against a top defense in the Browns, or I like to think as a top defense with, the talent they have. And, A.J. Brown coming back, over 100 yards and a touchdown. He looked amazing. However, only a 4-point win, not great. Nick Sirianni did not look happy as well. He looks like he is losing control of that team. And I don't blame the Eagles because, after that Super Bowl run, they haven't really done much. They had a great start to the next season. However, they ended up on a giant losing streak. I want to say winning one of their final 5 or 6 games. And then this year, and then getting bounced in a wild card and blowout. And then this year, only 3-2 with, not ideal losses and not ideal wins compared to Eagle Sanders. I think they're losing respect for him. So, yeah. Number 10 is the 49ers going up a spot. I don't know why I'm still so high in the 49ers, but considering how injured they were a few weeks ago and they were able to dominate the Seahawks and they're now winning their division, I think the 49ers are going to go on a 5-6 game win streak. I hate to say it. I hate the 49ers. Probably the team I hate the most that isn't an NFC North team. But they're finally getting healthy again, and it's showing. That was a great Thursday night win over the Seahawks, and a Division 1 at that. And for this game, you are going against the Chiefs. So if you're able to win that game, I think there's so much momentum going to be in the 49ers' favor going into these weeks after. So 49ers, you have a big game this week. I feel like this is going to make or break your spot in the power rankings. So let's see what you got. Number 9, staying the same as the Packers, as they ended up picking up the nice win over the Cardinals. Romeo Doubs back from suspension, Christian Watson back from injury, and they both scored touchdowns, Doubs getting 2 of them. And this Packers team really looks like they, know each other, even with that controversy I went through a week ago with, like I said, the injuries and the suspension. They both come back, and they both put up big numbers, and I really feel like this Packers team is in the full swing of things. They have a tough game against the Texans, which, early on in the season, I wouldn't say means a lot, but considering how good the NFC North is looking, this game is going to mean a lot. The Texans, even if they lose this game, will still be first in their division. The Packers, even if they win this game and go to 5-2, wouldn't be first in their division. Heck, they potentially wouldn't even be second, and they would be third if they won, because the Bears have a bye week, so, yeah. The Packers pretty much sucks in terms of, their record in their division. But, it's a bit early. We still see some changes. Number 8, we got the Buccaneers staying the same. They pull off a nice win against the Saints. They did struggle for one quarter, but that was, 1 quarter, so I'm not going to hold it against them. And I do think the Buccaneers are, a very scary team. I do think they are going to be a Super Bowl favorite in the NFC. them and the Falcons look like they're going to have a brutal battle for the NFC South. And, I think, looking at it right now, the Buccaneers will have a chance to, I don't know if they'll get the 1 seed, but I see them at like the 2, maybe the 3 seed. Number 7, we got the Texans. They're going to be staying the same. They pick up a nice win over the Patriots, 41-21. And, well, Joe Mixon returning from injury goes off, gets over 100 yards and a touchdown. And another thing, they were without Nico Collins, who is I'm pretty sure still leading the league or is very high up in the list in receiving yards. And he's been out for nearly 2 games because he got injured pretty early on in that, first game or last game. So that's pretty impressive that you're able to do that without your best receiver. But it just shows that Texas team has such, a deep room in receiving that, no matter who they're down, they're still able to put up points. And, well, it looked like pretty easily, too. Number 6, we got the Falcons staying the same. They pick up a nice win over the Panthers in a game that was close for, the first 3 quarters. However, in the 4th quarter, they were finally able to pull away. And I think that is going to be the talking point, is because teams are probably going to lose a bit of respect because of, it took them 3 quarters into the 4th quarter to finally pull away. But it's a division game. And in the last week's game, they went ahead and they beat the Buccaneers. So, right, that was last week? Yeah, it was. So, let's not jump to conclusions yet that they're washed or anything, because I still think they are a top team. Number 5, Commanders, 4, Ravens, both staying the same as well. The Ravens win 30-23 over the Commanders. And this was a great game. Both teams were very evenly matched. The Ravens just barely pulling it out, as I talked about with, the score only being a touchdown. And it's good to see both these teams are finally picking up, the respect, they kind of deserve. The Ravens obviously starting out 0-2. And then, the Commanders being kind of irrelevant for, years past. Besides, that 1-year wonder with however many quarterbacks they had that year. I do think that we will be talking about these teams for years to come, and I think we will be seeing a lot of Jaden Daniels, Lamar Jackson career comparisons with that. At number 3, we have the Lions staying the same. Number 2, we have the Vikings staying the same. Number 1, we have the Chiefs staying the same. The Chiefs and Vikings both had a bye, so we're just going to skip them entirely. But the Lions with a dominant win over the, whatever their names are, the Cowboys. They were so unserious. They were showing their trick plays, which I think will hurt them, considering they thrive off of their trick plays. They were lining O-linemen out at receiver, and they were pitching the ball back to offensive linemen trying to get them scores. So, I do think that they are just, a good team who are having fun, but I do think that will cost them a bit because they did show a bit of their playbook just for the fun of it. And unless those plays were legit, just like throwaway plays, I think that will hurt. Especially when they're going against the Vikings, where you're probably going to need to have some of those strategic plays against them next week. In a battle for the NFC North. And, the 1 seed in the NFC as well. Yeah. But I hope you guys did enjoy. I did. I will see you guys next time with predictions. Goodbye. Hope you enjoyed.